Hello, everybody. Al Osborne here again. Let us continue with our entrepreneurial basics. I want to talk to you now about the key characteristics of an entrepreneur. And let me take my brand off for the moment. I'm from the Anderson School at UCLA, as you know. What are the key characteristics of entrepreneur? Well, this paradigm that you see on the screen is an opportunity for us to distinguish between different kinds of creativity and different kinds of managerial know-how. On the horizontal axis, you see what I'm calling business know-how, management skills, and networks. Those I'll call managerial-oriented capabilities. And on the vertical axis, I've talked about creativity. And I've talked about people who are high or low in creativity and explaining to you certain typologies. The first one, on the high side, is someone that we can call the inventor. Now, the inventor is creative, as we know that, because they came up with something new, but they're probably deficient in managerial skills. Then there is the person that is low on creativity and also low on managerial skills, and this is a promoter, the flim-flam artist who's just out there in their blue suede shoes trying to make something happen. A third typology would be a manager or an administrator, certainly knowledgeable about management things, but probably not very creative because of what we associated with administrators and bureaucracy. What we're trying to say then about the entrepreneur, and the key characteristic, is that they're high in creativity and they're high in managerial skills. And the entrepreneur doesn't necessarily mean just a person, although we will talk about a person first and then talk about the team. So who are you as an individual thinking about being an entrepreneur? What is your attitude? How do you think about opportunity? Are you afraid or do you take chances? What is your basic approach to resolving problems? Are you defensive? Do you try to find a solution? Do you have negotiation skills? Are you particular about you handle all these things? Are you constructive in your management style? Do you have enthusiasm? Are you positive? Or are you simply confused about what you might do in your life? Well, we believe that a lot of it is how you look at the glass. And is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? If you're a person that believes the glass is half full, you probably are someone that could be interested in entrepreneurial pursuits. Let us talk a little bit more about what some of the characteristics are of an entrepreneurial leader. First off, as we've indicated, they have to have vision. That is, they have an idea about something that they're really trying to accomplish. Then the next thing I believe that's important as they try to operationalize the vision is they're open to change. They're open to input from others about what the vision could be. This means that most entrepreneurs in their setting are democratic. Inclusive was the word I used earlier on, but they're willing to hear others, what others have to say in a participatory sense. Then, of course, they are willing to experiment as they go forward with that. Experimenting about what they know is very, very important because this is where you pivot and then you decide kind of where it is you're going to be. Therefore, in building the experimentation and being open to change and having participatory, it means that you're flexible in how the organization is structured as it develops over time. Organizational flexibility, it becomes very important when you're trying to communicate with customers. So the issue then is working with customers and suppliers in the supply chain or the value creation hypothesis becomes very, very important as you try to be close to both of these key resources. Next to the customers and suppliers would be, let me think here for a second. Let's back up and say you have to have personal standards that are very high and be very ethical about it because you're dealing with a lot of different forces in the supply chain and in the value creation process that might take you off your integral approach to life and business. So I believe in high personal standards. Innovation becomes critical in the supply chain and in listening to your customers if you're going to fulfill what your passion and vision is all about. But nothing really happens unless you have a bias for action. And entrepreneurs are determined to move forward, to try things, to do what they need to get the opportunity to the market as expeditiously as possible. Integration is thinking then. pulls all of these things together, pulls all of the resources together in one way that they can be holistic in how they see things in their effort to recognize the opportunity and execute upon of it with a business concept that makes sense. That is what we're going to be talking about very shortly. But the entrepreneur can't work by himself or herself, and we're a big believer in a team. And here's my definition of what a team is. A team is a small number of people, those that be brought together with complementary skills that are committed to the common purpose or the shared vision, and are committed by determining the goals and strategies that will put in place to make it happen and hold themselves mutually accountable. That is an important definition of a team. Now, this is different than the typical work group. The team shares leadership, as opposed to one person being the leader. The team, they're individually and mutually accountable, I've just indicated, as opposed to the work group, which comes and goes with individual accountability and individual work products. It's a collective work product to try to make an opportunity realizable. And the process of communication and collaborations is very important. The team discusses, decides, and does things together, as opposed to those who are in work groups, which decide and delegate individually. Now, it is my belief that working in teams becomes essential if you're going to execute a common purpose. Some of the attributes we see in teams is that their performance goals, that use a variable mix of complementary skills and different things that are important in the execution. What is it that we want? Where's return? How large do we want to be? Who are going to be some of our other partners? And how are we going to think about our brand and reputation as we try to execute? But the commitment by all on the team is to get the work done and hold ourselves accountable. But the other thing, of course, is we know that over time we may have to develop talent to assist us in this process, and a team is most equipped to deal with that. I believe in the power of the team, because the entrepreneurial leader, with whatever vision he has, cannot build a great business alone, but he must need a team that is empowered.